Welcome to Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music. Your hosts, Rich Hoffa, Rick Lawhorn, and Mark Dunn. Rock Talk, Volume 11 Music.
Hey, how's it going? This is Rock Talk at Volume 11 Music in Fredericksburg, Virginia. My name is Rich.
Rick Lawhorn.
Mark Dunn.
All right, so this is 48 episodes. Man, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
And still people like to watch us
Still
do it.
hanging in there.
So
they haven't canceled us yet.
We're hanging on. They haven't canceled us. Of course, we can keep going until we cancel ourselves, right? So,
And thanks. Say hello to our viewer in Sydney, Australia today.
oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
One-
Country I've heard of.
All the way down.
Usually
One
gets on the map before he starts these episodes.
Okay.
Comes out with
We
stuff
got
I have
one
never heard of in
viewer.
my
All
life.
right. I didn't know we were that popular.
That's right. That's right. So a little housekeeping. We've got Matthew Mills this weekend at the store here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, 4006 Lafayette Boulevard at 1 o'clock, 13th, Saturday. Really great guitar player. We're going to be doing a clinic. It's free to come down here and check him out. Going to be showing some fast licks and different techniques and things like that. Super nice guy. So great player. So come on down and check Matthew out. He's Ibanez endorsed, and we've got Ibanez guitars in stock, so we can help you out with all that kind of stuff. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about bands that we like that we never bought a record.
Yep. Never
I guess that's it, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were thinking.
For example, I guess I'll kick this one off. So I've been buying music in record stores since 1978, 79.
Dude!
They
had records back then.
They did.
Those big,
I remember
thick
having
ones, the 70 whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Having money from cutting grass, and I'd buy a Kiss record, Kiss Destroyer, Kiss Love Gun, Van Halen 1, Fair Warning by Van Halen,
Now we're talking.
And
right.
I love that stuff, and it got me excited about guitar playing, as we've talked about in the older episodes.
Yeah.
And then as the time went on, we get into the 80s, there were all kinds of bands on the radio, and I like a lot of stuff that's not just guitar-oriented. I mean, we talk like the Beatles,
Right.
I mean, the Beatles have guitars in them, but they're great songwriters. There's no shredding arpeggios or two-handed tapping, but
They
we
were
still
orchestral.
love them. They're right. We still love them, right? But, so who are bands? So the first one that comes to mind for me would be Fleetwood Mac. I like Fleetwood Mac. I'm not a hater at all. I like Fleetwood Mac. I really do. But I have never, going all the way back to 1978, 79 as a young kid, actively buying music in the 80s, the 90s, and 2000s. I have never bought a Fleetwood Mac album. I don't know why. I
haven't either. Band I like.
Yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
No shade.
I think
thrown out or
I think I
anything,
have a Stevie Nicks record, but I don't have a Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, so you got one of the solo
Right.
albums that
Yeah.
she did.
Belladonna.
Yeah, I can't remember
that's the
which
name
one
of that
is,
record.
but
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
Does she do more than one solo record?
I don't think so. I think it was one. I don't know much about it, but
No, she had, she had a couple.
Yeah.
But no, and not only that, but with Fleetwood Mac, there's actually almost like two versions of Fleetwood Mac, because you had the version that had with Peter Green, where it was more bluesy,
Right.
which I didn't know that at the time. Again, I really like it. I enjoy it. That Les Paul through the Marshall, or late 60s, early 70s. Oh, well, yeah, exactly. And so maybe after this show, I'm going to order something off of Amazon,
Right,
or get a couple of Fleetwood Mac albums, but I just honestly
Might be
never
one over
bought.
there.
They actually they had three versions.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
when Lindsay and Christine and Stevie were all taking a hiatus, they hired Becca Bramlett.
That's right.
And that's the version I opened up for.
Okay,
back
cool.
In the 90s.
Okay, yeah.
And I can't remember.
I do remember
they
that.
had Dave Mason on guitar.
Dave Mason, yeah.
John McVie on bass, and
Okay.
Mick Fleetwood on drums.
Yeah,
And I
so there's
think
three functioning versions that were a little different of each other,
Yes.
all under that Fleetwood Mac umbrella.
And Becca Bramlett's amazing. See, that's Bonnie and Delaney Bramlett's daughter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, but the other guitar player was like a Jimmy Zito or something like that, or I can't remember.
Okay.
Or anyhow, he's been in a couple of things besides that, but they were out there touring.
Yeah.
You know? But it wasn't too long after that when
And then they got back with...
they pulled the Eagles.
Right. Get the version back that sold millions of albums and put it back on the road.
So how about you, Mark?
I'm guilty of a lot of that because I'm the youngest of five, as I've mentioned before,
Yeah.
and all my brothers all had
cool
the
stuff,
albums.
yeah.
You know?
Right.
So we were talking about this topic before we started recording, and I'm pretty positive that somewhere, I've got, my brother's Rumors
Yeah,
Right.
Rumor. Yeah, yeah.
Or the other one before that had Mick and John on the front cover. I've got my sister-in-law Liz's Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
So you didn't technically buy it, but you had access to it. So
If
you're
they
listening.
happen to leave the house and forget that they were there,
you rock out
Right,
to it.
right.
I gotcha.
But and also as you got into hanging out, like I pulled my resources to very specific things as a kid, as we all did. So
Yeah.
guilty of any Van Halen record.
Yeah.
Because my brothers actually had a couple of them, but they didn't want me to. They kept them, so I went and bought the same one.
Oh, okay.
And then when they wound up, leaving them anyway, I just took those and cut them up and put them up on my wall. But so I would buy the records I knew I wanted, and honestly, the ones that they were mostly guitar oriented, like the Essential Hendrix, Essential or Hendrix Smash Hits,
Right.
Yeah.
Cream, great
Clapton,
best stuff,
Cream, yeah.
and then the VH stuff, and Mom and Dad weren't buying anything I wanted to listen to, but my brother John always was bringing stuff home, so I guess I could discern what it is I liked or didn't like just through his collection.
Yeah.
And I get, one of the things is that really the gauge to this would be, have we ever been to a concert for a band we liked that we never bought their album?
Right. Oh, I have.
Yeah, me too. REM.
Yeah.
So I kind of
I remember the REM story.
Yeah,
Right.
Well, mine was Alice Cooper.
There you go.
Alice Cooper,
I never bought one of his records. I liked it when I heard it.
Yeah.
Never went out of my way to go buy it. But when I seen them live, I was like, these guys are really good, man.
Yeah.
Great songs, great theatrics. I mean, monster musicians, the whole 9 yards.
You hadn't bought the albums, but you still enjoy them. It's still
it was
Know the
band.
tunes.
Yeah,
It's crazy. Like I don't have the record. I know this.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I really had a good time, at the show. I mean, it was fantastic.
That happened to me at Dave Matthews this summer. My first ever Dave Matthews show. I'd never been able to get to one, and thankfully got to see him in Richmond. And I was like, I didn't think I was going to know anything because they're, they've been around. They have a lot of music.
A lot of music, yeah.
I've never bought a Dave Matthews album,
Yeah.
not out of disrespect, just not my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I knew like 9 of the tunes.
Yeah.
And they did some cool remakes too. I was like blown away. Like I don't know any of these albums, but I know these songs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Well,
and I don't know
exactly.
even how I know them.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like they're just part of your world, I guess.
Well, it's like with me with Styx. I mean, I think I bought the 45 Renegade.
Yeah, Renegade.
And never bought any other records. And but I seen them live in my other life in Power Sports.
Power Sports, right.
They actually it was up in Canada. They rented the Bell Center up there for all the Power Sports dealers to come in, and they had Styx playing. And then we were sitting there listening to them, and like, I didn't realize they had that
All those
many
hits.
hits.
Yeah,
I was
a lot
like,
of hits.
wow.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It was
crazy.
insane. I was like,
Yeah.
I knew almost every song they played. And I was
Their
just
B-sides
thrown.
are hits.
No, I know. I just,
Yeah.
I was flabbergasted at how many songs I knew, and I was like, God, that was a hit. I didn't have any clue that was Styx.
Yeah.
Because I guess I was more of a casual fan, other than that one little 45 I bought. But I think that has a lot to do with it. You're more of a casual fan, so you don't buy. You like it, but
Never
you're
bought a
not,
hard album.
Okay.
Yeah, I like
see
hard
that.
too.
Yeah, I see you have some hard albums.
I don't. I don't.
My
have
brothers
hard,
had 'em.
hard
Yeah.
album either. Yeah.
Okay.
But like the REM, the Dave, the Replacements.
Okay.
Went and saw them, and
Yeah.
actually probably they might be the world's best bar band that ever existed.
Yeah, I've heard so many. I've heard some great things about their live
I
performances.
mean their ability to be that loose but tight is I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few shows back at that age, and that some at the Boathouse in Norfolk.
Okay.
Was one of the few shows at that venue that I stayed for the whole time. It was that good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Never bought an album. Knew all the tunes.
But just like there's still a cool vibe. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. What band that you have you never heard of that you seen live and then ran out and bought their record right after?
For me,
that?
Kicks would have, because
Yeah.
Kenny Ames was always like, man, you got to get into Kicks, man. You got to get into Kicks. And I knew who they were, but I didn't know who they were. And we saw them up at the Bayou, and that was the first time I ever saw them back in '85. I guess Midnight Dynamite was getting ready to come out, and I was just blown away.
That might have been the same show I was at. I was there.
I don't think we might not have known each other back then. That was '85.
Yeah.
But you were probably there.
Yeah.
And it
You
was
guys were looking at
great.
each other
Yeah.
come across the venue. I play guitar.
Yeah.
I play drums.
But I tell you, I was hooked. I mean,
Oh, I
after
know.
that, I was like, these guys are amazing.
Well,
and I went out and bought, everything.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot of albums, but I bought what I could. I mean, yeah,
Well,
great
like,
stuff.
the old sound man for Destiny, Bob Poole.
Bob, yeah.
And of course he runs sound up at the Jiffy Lube and stuff like that. But I seen him wearing a Kicks shirt. This is when
Yeah.
I was still in high school. and
Right,
everything.
right, high school,
And I was like,
yeah.
"Who's that?" He goes, "Oh,
Kicks.
you got to see these.
You gotta see
guys.
Kicks, man.
You got to see Kicks."
yeah.
And so I went and bought. I was in high school. I bought that first record, and I was totally hooked after.
So
that.
the
Of course, we
debut
know
was the
that
first
'cause-
one you heard.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
my first was Midnight Dynamite
Yeah.
because Kenny got it when it was brand new, and he said, "You got to get into these guys," and,
Yeah.
and I love them. I'm like, man,
Oh
they're
yeah,
great.
yeah, for sure.
For me, it would have been when Dave Roth went on tour solo. Mm-hmm. And again, we were talking before we started recording about how the radio stations back in Norfolk and Virginia Beach didn't really play a lot of LA stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And my brothers and I, and keep in mind, my brother Jimmy was a morning show host on FM 99 that whole week. David Lee Roth opened the tour at Hampton.
Okay,
First ever
yeah.
show.
For the Eat 'em and Smile
First
tour,
ever
right?
solo
Steve Vai,
Dave, yeah,
Billy
that-
Sheehan,
yeah.
right? Okay.
So they rehearsed and they did all the stuff in Hampton Coliseum for a week, and those guys were broadcasting and from the stage and stuff, and it was pretty cool. But my brothers and I were laughing over the opening band just by the name because they were called Cinderella.
Yeah, Cinderella.
And we were like, okay, because I don't even think they definitely weren't played on FM 99.
Right,
and
right.
I didn't know that I'd even seen a video of them on MTV yet.
They were
And
pretty
they
new.
were the opening band.
The
for the
opening
Rock.
band, yep.
And they came out and blew the doors off the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were laughing because we were we were being kind of obnoxious just based on the name.
The name, yeah.
And
That was Eat 'em Smile, wasn't it?
Eat 'em and Smile.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Eat 'em and Smile, 86.
And that record for Cinderella really even wasn't who they are or who they were.
Yeah.
I mean, they really were more of a bluesy,
Bluesy,
Guns N'
hard
Roses,
driving rock and
Aerosmith.
roll band. They
Yeah.
just got marketed
But
a certain
still,
way,
those
yeah.
guys came out and just crushed it.
I liked them. Yeah, I remember watching
Spinning
them
the
open in
guitar.
Somebody
Richmond.
Save Me,
Richmond.
Nobody's
Yeah.
Fool.
Yeah,
Oh,
Nobody's
that's a great
Fool, yeah.
album.
And there was another band, one other one. I took my son Dan on his 16th birthday with a bunch of friends to go see one of their favorite bands called Passion Pit. It was at the National. And, I'm taking my son to a concert, whether I like the band or not. It's what you do.
Yeah,
And with a bunch of his friends. And the band that came out before them are really either husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend duo with a surrounding band called Cults.
Not the cult.
Not the cult.
We're talking
just
cults, plural.
Plural. No preposition.
Okay.
And I was mesmerized,
Huh.
and I started listening to their stuff that night on the way.
Okay.
home. Incredible stuff. They're out of New York, and
Okay.
they really haven't knocked down any. Nobody knows about them.
Yeah.
But I think they've landed some music and some movie soundtracks and whatnot, and it's like it's hyper old. In other words, it's new technology, and the way they make it sound is like production from the 60s.
Like retro-y kind of a...
But modern retro-y. And
Okay.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Cults, go check them out.
Yeah, Cults.
Go Outside, I think, is their biggest hit from that first record. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
2 times for me where I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was actually a smaller band. Nobody even knew them here, but because I like big band music, right?
Yeah.
And Brian Setzer.
Oh, Brian, yeah,
and
Brian Setzer.
rockabilly, love that stuff too. And so we got tickets to go see Brian Setzer doing his Christmas extravaganza,
Christmas,
just all
right.
the Christmas
I
songs.
remember that.
And I mean, of course, we're all waiting there, and he brought he brought somebody over, a band called the Slap Tones from Sweden. I think they were from Sweden.
yeah.
And here they got just really small gear, old beat up drum set and all that
Right.
stuff. And they come out, and it was a family band. So you had the
Okay.
3 daughters, and then the father was actually playing drums and doing harmonica type of stuff, and more rockabilly type of stuff. But the thing, they had great songs, but the thing that just really blew me away were their harmonies. I mean, harmonies that give you cold
Harmony is always
cold
amazing,
chills. I mean,
yeah,
I was getting goosebumps because the harmonies were so unbelievable, and I love the songs. And so they had 2 records out. amplified and simplified. And then I didn't buy them while I was at the show, and I was like, I kicked myself. So I went on the internet and, of course, found a place that was selling them and got them shipped over here from from Europe. But I went out that week and ordered them and got them shipped in. But really, really cool experience with them. I don't think they're together anymore, but they did a fantastic job. I was like so blown away by the harmonies. I mean, it's
they're going to do the reunion tour after the kids are all grown up.
Right.
They can't tour when they're pregnant.
Yeah, right. That's it.
Our expert.
Yep.
I know.
There you go.
We're getting some great comments here.
Yeah.
I know. And Mark running off in the last episode, and me going out drinking. We don't talk about that, but hey,
fun games here at Volume 11 Music. A couple others too, though. Back to the initial thing we were talking about like somebody that I like them or I don't hate them or anything. I just didn't buy any of their albums. U2, I've never bought a U2 album, and they're obviously a huge band in the world. I don't hate them or dislike them; they're fine. But I've just never gone out and said I'm buying this particular U2.
I bought Joshua Tree.
I've heard it a million times, just because
everybody would argue because U2 has been a band for a long time and written a lot of music, but I think Joshua Tree is their Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah,
it's just so.
And no denying it's a great album. I just never went out and bought it.
Yeah,
it's another one probably.
I almost felt I bought it I think, not to be mean to them, but I think it was a bargain, like a $5.
Yeah, it wasn't too expensive. I'll buy it.
Oh my God, I love this album.
Yeah, no, I've done it with other groups,
but I've never seen them live, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've never seen them actually go to a concert.
But that's I know a crap ton more of their music, and I've covered a lot of it. But that album to me was like, that's an amazing record. That was a good time for music in that era period.
Right.
For a lot of things going on. And I think that's when they became who they actually were.
Yeah, well said. And then the other one we talk about real quickly before we start filming this, again, I'm a fan. I've done songs in bands, but I've never bought a Tom Petty album.
Oh, yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And I like Tom, but I've just never gone out and said, I'm sinking out money for Damn the Torpedoes or whatever, one of the classic Tom Petty ones. And I've heard every song a million times, but don't own any of the music.
There's not a Tom Petty song that would come on the radio that we would not sing along to.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And it's crazy because it's like, I don't need the record.
I don't. Right. Yeah. We just hear it when you sing along on the radio, or you're in a bar or whatever, and they're playing it, and you're American Girl or something like that.
But I think the romanticism, I do miss that. And what I mean by that is that the tactile aspect of buying a piece of art that was released, and the art boils down to the album cover and the credits on the back, and what it takes to get to the point of sale. That type of thing was a large part of entertainment economy for so long. And to me, there's a nostalgia to that seems to be almost organically being reinvigorated with albums.
Right.
I mean, we have a crap ton of albums here. People come in and ask for vinyl, and there's the romanticism to that process. Putting it on there, needle, hearing that, and makes me. This conversation is making me think about that because I'm going, man, I should probably go out and get some of these records.
Right, I'm thinking that too. I got to get a Fleetwood Mac album. I got to get a U2 album. I got to get a Tom Petty album. Because again, it's not that I dislike or hate anybody. I like everybody. It's just I just never went out and bought anything. Which, maybe I. Or here's one. Was there ever an album for either of you, and I'll talk about one in a second, that when we were younger, like, I really do want to get that album, but for some reason I just didn't. And for me, it was The Knack when I was a kid. Remember The Knack with, I guess, My Sharona was the big hit, 1979, 1980. I always remember those songs on the radio, that one, and I liked it. I just never got that album. I still, to this day, don't own a Knack album, but I always thought they were fun.
That song has monster guitar solo.
Oh, it does. We heard it here on the radio the other day, and I hadn't heard it in a long time. I said, man, that's a cool break in the middle when they're just jamming. That's really cool,
The Christopher Cross album.
Christopher Cross,
was Sailing.
Right, yep.
Something about how that sounded to me was alluring, and none of my brothers bought it.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
like,
you didn't have access.
yeah, and I'm like,
collection,
I actually even asked them, is anybody going to buy the Christopher Cross album?
You need to get that Christopher Cross record.
and it's a wonderful album.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
And did you know, sidebar trivia about Christopher Cross, that he filled in for Richie
Blackmore
Yeah.
in Deep Purple for a
Holy
gig.
cow.
Yeah, back
But
in the, yes.
Christopher Cross is a monster.
He's an
guitar
excellent
player.
guitar
Right,
player.
right.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is. Yeah.
There's that solo in Ride Like the Wind at the end that they needed a goose in the mix because he's absolutely ripping.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I heard that years ago, and I'd gone back and re-listened, and I said, yeah, he's a talented guy. There's no question. And that's another one. I don't own that album. I like it, but I just don't physically own it.
As a kid, though, I thought
yeah.
that was an important record.
Yeah.
And didn't he also do the theme song to Arthur?
He did.
So
yes,
he kinda,
Arthur.
He was kind of on the radio, but
Right.
he really
I forgot
stood
about that.
out.
Yeah.
That sound was different.
Yeah.
And I really dug it.
But you know what killed him, I think, was MTV, that you got to have a pretty boy look.
He definitely
And
is not pretty.
He's not. He's not. No one's going to ever mistake him for John Bon Jovi.
And his voice is so beautiful. It's like when people would see him, it's like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
it's like you're being punked. Like that voice is not coming out of that guy.
Christopher, if you're watching this, suck.
Yeah, right.
But you ain't pretty.
Yeah. But really, I mean, that kind of like he just didn't make that transition over to the MTV era.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he kind of, those songs have stood, but the other deeper parts of those records that he did are just fantastic.
good albums.
Yeah. He kind of disappeared.
Can we say he invented yacht rock because it's sailing? It's,
Right.
It's a,
Well,
it's
yeah, a
sort
lot
the
of that
yacht
music
rocky
comes from that same time.
thing. Yeah, I agree.
Gary Rafferty.
Yep. It's all kind of that sort of vibe,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess ARS would be a part of that. But you definitely hear serious.
Yeah, that's yacht rock, right? I mean, you're on a boat.
Yeah.
I mean, they say about other bands, but they weren't singing about being on a boat.
Maybe we should form a band that does Motley Crue versions of yacht rock and call it Yachtly Crue.
Yachtly Crew. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap this episode up, but since you brought up My Sharona, I want to tell a funny story about My Sharona. So I want to talk about weird places that you hear a song and you're like, you got to be kidding! I'm hearing this here. So So I went to Russia.
Are you going to bring up the jail story again?
No jail story. I've never been in jail. But I have been to Russia, so I'm in Moscow, right? And I'm jumping on this train to go to another city in Russia, and if you've ever been,
what year was
out
this?
of this. This was probably right around. I think it was probably 2000, around a little after 2000s.
Okay.
So it was
20 years ago. So
20 some years ago, and so I'm sitting there and you jump in, and go into this train, and you got to picture the train. The train was like going back into the 40s. That's how old it was, right? So everything over there is old. I mean, it's the cars, a lot of cars and all that stuff. It looks old. So I go in there, and I'm going down the hallway to find my booth thing, my room, and I'm got my luggage and everything, and I hear and I go, you got to be kidding me! I'm on a train in Russia, and there's a dude with saltfish wrapped around his neck selling it outside on the walk there, and I'm sitting there listening to My Sharona. I just started laughing.
It's like a scene out of a movie.
I'm
or
like,
something,
oh my
man.
god, this is too
Can you imagine
funny.
if people would have started to, "Ooh, you're really good to me.
You're good to me. You're really good to me. My Sharona.
That's right. That's right. So, if you like this episode, be sure to hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the channel. It really keeps us wanting to do these videos, and more followers. More followers, more fun we have, and we're getting a lot of comments on our on the short videos that we're doing. Lots and lots of comments on those. Enjoy reading all the comments. Can't answer all of them, but it is fun to read everybody's comments and stuff like
Most
that.
days.
So
Most-
yeah, exactly. So where are you guys playing this weekend?
I'll be at the Fredericksburg Eagles Saturday, the 13th of September, with Cactus Jack from 8 to midnight.
Cool.
Friday the 12th. I'm not sure.
I'll be somewhere.
I might be in Orange, or I might be at Tyson's. I'm not sure. And then I'm going to have to miss Saturday's clinic. So I got to be down in Virginia Beach during the day
I got
for a private event. So that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah. We're going to be getting set up for Matthew Mills. I've been as endorser. So if you're in the area and you want to see a great player, come on down. It starts at 1 o'clock. So make sure that if you're coming, get here a little early. We got, of course, shop's not super huge, so we've got limited seating in here.
Space, right.
So, but it should be a good time. Really looking forward to it. And I guess that wraps up what episode again was this?
48.
48.
48.
We're gonna do something special for the big 5-0.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're
what
almost
we're talking
there.
about.
We'll just broadcast it from Hawaii.
Hawaii, right?
The Hawaii 5-0.
Exactly.
We need to buy the shirt.
That's right. So have a great week, and we'll see you next week on Rock Talk. See ya.
This has been an episode of Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music.